Well, I'm Piers Corbyn from Let the UK Live, and things I want to talk about today is about latest things going on and how we're going to go onto the offensive in the movement against New World tyranny. And one issue comes to mind. I've been asked, why is it that Diane Abbott and my brother are suddenly being attacked big time in the Labour Party and prevented from standing? I think that's what will happen.
Jeremy's been attacked since the day he got leadership.
Yes, but why is Starmer trying to remove them now? I think the answer is
He's a nasty
straightforward.
bag of
that
shit.
The powers that be have all prepared and agreed they want Starmer to be the next Prime Minister, to have direct rule from the World Economic Forum. And although my brother goes along with a lot of the World Economic Forum nonsense like man-made climate change, he and Diane Abbott and a few others would be a problem in a future Parliament. So Starmer wants to snap on them now. And we know also at the same time
there wouldn't be a problem.
Look, please be quiet afterwards. At the same time, we have the Together operation, which we know has got very close relationships with Richard Tice and Nigel Farage, Richard Tice, the official leader of Nigel Farage's Reform UK. They are trying to make inroads into the movement in order to pave the way for Reform UK to play a part in the next general election, take away Tory votes, which doesn't worry me, but take away Tory votes to make it possible for Starmer to have a landslide on behalf of the World Economic Forum. I believe that is what's going on, and I say watch this space, watch all fake opposition around and everything. Now, specifically, the big issues happening now is we've got numbers of court cases, and we've got the zoning campaigns and religious things going on. And I want to mention a couple of court cases first of all. Angela here is going to talk a bit about hers later, but she got a conditional discharge for some damage which wasn't damage. Anyway, quick round of applause for Angela.
Well done.
Later on, she'll talk about it. And I want to mention that's different from her case where she put some graffiti on the BBC,
yeah, we wanted
and
to
I
stick
was
the boot in
charged
Angela.
with assaulting police officers, trying to prevent them assaulting her.
We'll get you, Angela.
Her case on that is coming on the 25th of May.
You don't look like you're the sort.
There's another one coming up. Debbie Hicks took police, the powers that be to court, as a judicial review over her
women that spend time with you get into trouble
over
with
her
the police.
filming an empty hospital, which was deemed to be worrying and a threat and intimidating the doctors who weren't there. Now this is of course utter nonsense, but there's a judicial review happened and coming up. Now when are they going to judge? I don't know, because the embarrassment thing is, what the hell can they say apart from let her off? If they let her off, a whole lot of other people might be let off. I've also got an appeal case going on in Northern Ireland on similar grounds that the COVID nonsense was completely unrealistic.
Northern Ireland?
At least.
Why Northern Ireland, Piers?
Because I was arrested in Northern Ireland.
Oh, were you on holiday?
No, it was I was assembling in more than a group of 15 people. Anyway, the judge was meant to have judged on that in early January. Still haven't. So they're postponing these things because they're going to be embarrassed.
How much do you owe in ULEZ fines,
these judges.
Piers?
Well, allegedly on ULEZ fines, I owe now, well, £45,000 plus another £20,000 for the pleasure of them collecting my car and taking it to a car pound in Waltham Abbey.
That's £20,000.
They want £61,000 back from me to get my car back.
And
but we have another
pound to help towards.
We have another idea. Pass me the box. Pass me the box. Put it in the box.
Yeah, you need another 61,000.
We do. We're not going to pay any of it. We're going to buy the car back.
Hang on, can I have that back?
We can buy the car back for a few £100. So there's the box there for you to pay for the car.
Contributions,
to
please.
Back.
Notes only.
No, look.
The
important thing
about
about
from you peasants.
ultra low emission zone is how to win. because the ultra-low emission zone and the low traffic neighbourhoods and the clean air zones, which are the same as ULEZ and other places, and the 15-minute cities, and now pay per mile are all the same thing to control you. And the way to break them is not going to be begging councillors, although we've got to ask councillors to come on our side. We demand councils actually do not put up the cameras and even take down the cameras and do not allow use. That's the first thing.
Piers, when you
Second
die,
thing
do you
is,
think God will send you to hell for not paying ULEZ fines?
no, I'm exempt.
If you do go there, you're going to warm welcome.
We have to actually drive at will and do not pay. The only reason why they took my car is as a political example, because normally ex-bailiffs tell me reliably they will never lift a car that's worth less than £2,000. Now my car was worth 500, so it's going to be a big loss.
That's a big
loss to the enforcement agents to do it. But Khan would have told them to do it, because we know the day before my car was lifted, for the first time in my life, I've had the top armed police stop me and inspect my car to see if it was roadworthy, right? They were armed police to
They
make
should
sure.
have stopped you to see if you're roadworthy.
And they checked that it was completely roadworthy, and they were impressed even when I told them it goes 112 miles an hour.
What's the vehicle? What
I
is
said allegedly.
What is the car?
It's a Vauxhall Cavalier, 1995.
Wowzer.
1.8.
You got that up to 112 miles per hour?
I did.
Were you
Unofficial.
driving at the time? Were you conscious at the
I
time?
can't remember if I was driving or not, Your Honour.
Was
But
it
anyway.
downhill with a following
It was
wind?
slightly downhill on the M2. Yeah, it's a very good car, but we're going to buy it back. But we shouldn't advertise it too much and say someone wants to outbid us. But look, that is the
I don't think
plan.
there's much chance of that.
A
Actually,
friend
it's
will
becoming
buy it back.
collectible.
And then we'll drive it
It's the
around.
last of the Vauxhall Cavaliers.
Okay, but look, let's be clear about these things. We're not going to win by begging the authorities to do things. It's just like my brother with his 2 million march against the Iraq war. They said to Blair, look at all these people. And he said, yes, I see them, and I'm going to war, just the same. Unless we do things to prevent their impositions, we will lose. So that means you drive at will and don't give them the money. That's happened in Birmingham, and the council in Birmingham have given up their ULEZ charges, right? That's one thing. The second thing is, take down the cameras. And 300 cameras have suddenly disappeared from their places in
That'll be
parts of
Essex.
West London. I understand, nothing to do with me. But, you know, these are the facts, that if we stop them being able to implement what they want to do, they will never win. And we're going to have to be serious about all these things.
Have you taken
right.
any cameras down, please?
I'm in favour of cameras being taken down by any means, including asking the council to take them down. How about that? There we are. Right, now, the reason why they haven't taken me to court about this stuff is because
You're
they
more
don't want a
trouble
court
than you're
case.
worth.
You see, we have visited Northampton County Court and there's no court there. There's a building and a computer printing these demands, these PCNs, parking whatever notices, parking control notices, and there's a machine which issues so-called warrants of control, but they're not signed by a judge. There should be something signed by Regina versus Corbyn, a judge, or no, Rex versus Corbyn, God save us from him. But Rex versus Corbyn has to be a case for a warrant to be issued to control my car. But there's no such things. So we want a court case about this. They don't want a court case. And if we have a court case and win, then all the PCNs, all the penalty charge notices for the last 6 years might be illegal. And there'll be millions and millions given back to everybody. This is what is at stake in this. So I urge people, drive your car at will. Even if you're outside the zone now, drive into it now and break the law and define it.
Justice system, though?
Pardon?
Piers, do you have faith in the justice system? Do you think that they would rule in your
No,
favour?
but you break the rules so they can't cope. That's what's happened in Birmingham.
Piers, have you
They
always
can't
been a naughty
cope.
boy?
I'm sure you have. Okay. Now, all this stuff is backed up by their ideology of man-made climate change. And we have here, I repeat this many times, this exciting little graph here. You can see the green there follows the red. The red changes, then the green changes. The red is temperatures, the green is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide levels follow changes in temperature. That is a fact that both sides in the argument agree, but they don't talk about that. It means the man-made climate change story is a complete, absolute, total lie.
So how do they explain that then, the other side?
The other
for
side,
those who don't
they
know.
ignore it. Well,
No,
they
but
say, okay, what the head of physics said in Imperial, she said, oh yes, Piers, that's true, but then after this extra CO2, the temperature will go up. And then she said, and she was interviewing children, she said, and now we've got to move on, children, haven't we? Well,
Yes.
look, this graph.
A self-reinforcing loop, they're allegedly saying.
They say there should be another rise in temperature here after this CO2's gone up. There's no extra rise in temperature. She was talking utter crap, lies and bollocks. Man-made climate change does not exist, and if anybody can produce a single scientific paper arguing the freedom
There you go, you got one there.
does, I will
one there.
later.
They're affecting the climate,
Later.
killing people as well.
Later. Well, the poison's been stuck in the atmosphere is not climate change. Okay. So, man-made climate change is nonsense, and we have to go on the offensive against it, right? So we want to force debate in universities on this. And, you know, we have some success on that. Another place to force debate now is on the church. The church has been taken
What have you got
over
against
by
Jesus?
the World Economic Forum, who are making them put forward complete lies. Now, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, I appeared in St. John's Church in Waterloo, barged into an audience there and made a short speech, which got a lot of publicity. And I started off by saying, Matthew 21 verses 12 and 13. Jesus cast out of the temple the moneylenders and traders and said, my house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it into a den of thieves. And then I said, and you people following Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil and putting forward these lies are doing the same thing. You're selling a narrative for money, and you should leave this temple. I said that, and the priest did not leave indeed, but a lot of people
You said
heard
that
it.
only to realise
And what we're
that
going to
there's a
do
meeting of
next,
the Women's
we're going to
Institute.
challenge the church, challenge individual churches to actually debate this. We want to have a new way forward for the church based on honesty, and those who believe in the Bible should actually read it, you know, because it does say in there all things about Genesis. But I would say, if you believe in these things, God made photosynthesis and carbon dioxide for us to live, and carbon dioxide is the gas of life. And those who believe it's bad
CO2,
are doing the work of the devil.
Piers, just quickly, I did get told about your
Yes.
appearance in the church. Yeah, someone saw an effigy of you on the curtain. I know that fell on deaf ears.
I think look, my brother's initials are JC, not mine. I'm PC, which is politically correct, if you want.
Which is anything but
Dribble,
true.
no, dribble.
So Piers, what was the connection between Extinction Rebellion and church then?
The Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil were having a rally in there in order to march to Parliament as a pilgrimage to Parliament to save the planet. And we're saying they're doing the work of
Bloody
the devil
hell, you're not
and
even liked by
destroying
them.
the planet. Okay, well, I think I'll almost finish here, but just a couple of things.
Not yet.
I want to
Piers.
repeat.
Another 2 hours,
We've got to
please.
go onto the offensive in the movement now, because the powers that be are wobbly. Now, at the same time, of course, there's all sorts of troublemakers making up stories that anybody who fights back is a shill. All that nonsense will happen. It'll happen more and more big time. But we have to go on the offensive. And the other thing to go on the offensive is about this war, the war con, the Ukraine war. Look, people are dying there, but it's been used against you as a war on you to justify petrol prices going up. There's no oil produced in Ukraine. This is all a pack of lies. It's a war on you. And the first thing we've got to do is take down those Ukraine flags. Take down the Ukraine flags. Take down the Ukraine flags. Take down the Ukraine flags. And what we should be saying about Ukraine is that they should have the right to self-determination, just like as does Scotland, as the Punjab, as well, various places. right to self-determination, and now we should have a ceasefire and a peace conference.
I think
that's
you're
what we
saying
should
now
have
we
now.
should have lunch.
Not sending any more money to that evil bastard Zelensky, who's a tool for the World Economic Forum.
Russia alone. It's not going to be up to the West. The ceasefire is up to Russia and Russia alone.
Well,
Nothing to do.
I think that's a bit. I don't want. Well, you can talk about that in more detail. I don't come up and speak. But I would say that we should call for a ceasefire and a peace conference. That could be a way forward, rather than us all being conned and the world being conned. Okay. And the last thing to mention is there's many different groups around the country now, all of them fighting sort of the same thing. But we had some good results yesterday. I was in Yorkshire, in Huddersfield, that's the place. Everyone forgets.
Are you driving at the moment?
Where I put forward this idea of a united front, the united front, our movement,
God's own country.
for the different groups involved to get behind. And the people up there, one of the freedom groups, the standing candidates, agreed with it. Angela's agreed with it, for example. Debbie Hicks has agreed with it. Gurcharan Singh of the Sikhs agrees with it. 12 principles of a united front that we'd expect anybody standing in elections or campaigning to support. And if they don't, we think, well, why not? Ask them why. And I'll read them out. I'm not going to read that in full, but the essential way. So, number 1 is men are men, women are women. There you are. That's immediately ruled out
when they're
all the
not.
leaderships of the parties in Parliament. Number 2, roads are for travelling. Well, what a revolution. Yes. So, as opposed to bike lanes or building flower
Are
boxes
roads
on
for
them.
men or women, Piers?
Well, that's it. You stand up separately about that. Number 3, man-made climate change does not exist, and CO2 is the gas of life.
Gas of life.
Number 4, end all the COVID or new virus injection programs now. And something is cooking. They're talking about all sorts of new viruses, maybe not. But there's something going on where they'll try and lock us down on those things. So number 5 is no more lockdowns or regulations in the name of a virus or
Did you
climate.
find slightly more catchy one-liners, Piers?
Number 6, well, for an accountable health service and based on right to life and good nutrition instead of profits for big pharma. Number 7, stop the Great Reset and digital ID and artificial intelligence control, and the CBDC, central bank digital currency. Number 8, for evidence-based science. You should applaud that, please. Thank you. No, I shouldn't applaud, I should applaud. Number 9, democratic self-determination for all peoples and regions, end the war con, as already mentioned about Ukraine and Scotland and Kurdistan, etc. Number 10, democratic accountability and recallability in all public life. So, if you elect a councillor or an MP and say 20% of the people that voted for them think they've been treacherous, then you should have a re-election, have a petition for a re-election. And public offices like police chiefs, director of the BBC, schools, the people in charge should also be elected.
Piers, has
Schools
Charles-
should be subject to
Charles
parental choice.
invited you to the coronation.
No. Number 11, no censorship and open media. And you've got to have the right to reply in all media. And number 12, the last one, for an accountable legal system and police. Judges, magistrates and police chiefs must be subject to democratic control and dismissal and re-election and so forth in the name of democracy and the will of the people.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll end there with a quick slogan, and then I think Angela's going to talk about her case in a bit more detail, which is really exciting. And I'll do my favourite t-shirt. Resist! Defy!
Do not comply!
Resist! Defy!
Do not comply! Resist!
Defy!
Do not comply! Miss Corbyn!
Can I just